This podcast is an invitation to feel and experience the souls of famous old Hollywood homes and to have an in-depth journey to the areas where they're located through interviews with longtime residents. Either you're a fan of old Hollywood in Los Angeles, planning to have a vacation, or, an even bigger step, considering a certain area for your future home. This is your opportunity to receive valuable information and insightful advice you won't find anywhere else.
Hello, and welcome to my podcast. Are you in the mood for California? Today we'll explore and feel Burbank and the Warner Brothers studios, followed by an interview with incredible Tita Hutchison, who will share with us what it feels like to live in Burbank.
So when you get up into the hills above the 5, it's really, really like these cul-de-sacs and things like that of these homes. And it's very like the homes are kind of more from the 50s and 60s. And then these massive McMansions are up there too. Mm-hmm. But again, very sprawling. And then it goes up into the golf course and things like that. And Castaways, I think, is up there.
Yes, with the best city views.
And, you know, one of your questions is where you can see a good sunset. Castaways.
Masha Korpacheva is a California-based realtor and a member of the National Association of Realtors in Los Angeles. She's an advocate for selling and buying homes with soul and practicing mindfulness in real estate. With master's degrees in spiritual psychology and linguistics, Masha brings all of her skills to work with her clients. An intuit and empath, she has touched many lives with her outstanding ability to see beyond the visible and helping to come to better understanding of issues and their resolutions. An adventurous world traveler, from climbing Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania to exploring the Galapagos Islands, Masha has a particular passion for the City of Angels. Having landed in this paradise and adopted it as her home, she's been sharing old Hollywood stories since 2007. In the mood for California, feel the soul of old Hollywood.
And now, are you ready to feel the soul of Burbank and the Warner Brothers studios? Burbank, California is historically famous for its association with the film and television industries. It is known as the media capital of the world due to its large concentration of media and entertainment companies, including Cartoon Network, Disney, and, of course, Warner Brothers Entertainment, where many iconic films and TV shows were produced, including Casablanca, The Exorcist, Friends, Harry Potter, The Ellen DeGeneres Show, and so many more. Warner Brothers started, well, with 4 brothers. But they were not ordinary brothers. They had a dream. Polish immigrants, Jack, Harry, Sam, and Albert Warner, had grown up in the early days of cinema, watching as the motion picture industry exploded in popularity across the country. They knew that they wanted to be a part of it, but they didn't know how. So they started small, purchasing a little theater in Pennsylvania and slowly building their business over the years. They expanded to other theaters in other states, but they never forgot their dream of making movies. In early 1920s, the Warner Brothers decided to take the plunge and start their own movie studio. They knew that they needed a location that would allow them to compete with the established studios in Hollywood. But they didn't want to be right in the thick of things. They wanted a place that was peaceful and quiet, where they could build their dream without distraction. And so they found Burbank, a sleepy little town just a few miles northwest of Los Angeles. With a loan of $50,000, they founded Warner Brothers Pictures in 1923 and purchased a piece of property that had previously been used as a farm and set to work building their new studio. They started with producing silent films. It was not an easy road. The brothers poured all of their money and resources into the studio, taking out loans and putting their own financial security on the line. They faced numerous setbacks, from labor disputes to technical challenges to financial troubles. The first mortgage lifter, as nicknamed by the brother Jack, came in the face of a dog brought from France after World War I by an American soldier. The dog's name was Rin Tin Tin, and his third film, Where the North Begins, was so successful that he was signed to star in more films for $1,000 per week, which is roughly $17,600 in today's money. Rin Tin Tin became the studio's top star and established their reputation. They continued to persevere. They knew that they had something special, something that could change the world of cinema forever. They were passionate, driven, and determined to see their dream become a reality. And then the major success came when in 1927 they became the first studio to release a talkie movie, The Jazz Singer, which catapulted them to the top of the Hollywood hierarchy. But for the Warner Brothers, it was never about the fame or the fortune. It was about the dream, the passion, the love of movies. They had created something out of nothing, something that would endure for generations to come. Their place in cinematic history was cemented. As the years go by, the Warner Brothers studios continue to thrive, inspiring countless others to follow in their footsteps and chase their own dreams. For the Warner Brothers, it is the greatest legacy they could have ever hoped for. And here we are. Welcome to Burbank. I am so happy to have Tita Hutchison here with me. Tita has recorded and toured backing artists signed to major labels such as Capitol, Columbia, Sony, and Hollywood Records. She has sung jingles, commercials, voiceovers, demos, performed in bands of almost any genre you can think of. Tita has worked and performed with many artists, composers, and producers, such as Shooter Jennings, Eric Martin, Paul Anka, Michael McDonald, Dolly Parton, George Benson, Gloria Estefan, and Michael Jackson, to name just a few. Tita will share with us what it feels like to live in Burbank.
And he knows that nothing can stop him but the price he would pay. But that's enough. He'll take all the world into his arms and just hold his breath and let it go and watch the story unfold through his
Hello, Tita.
Hello.
Oh my God, I'm so excited about our conversation today.
I am too. Thank you for thinking of me.
Of course, you're a brilliant human being and musician. And
Oh
of
my.
course, I wanted to talk to you about
I'm
the
gonna have to
place
slip you
where you
that
live.
50 later. My goodness.
So tell me, why did you choose to live in Burbank?
Enough. We were living in South Pasadena and we had gotten a dog, and our landlady was like, "Nope, you gotta go." And so we just started looking for similar type of neighborhood in the sense that it was its own city, because that's the thing about Burbank is it's its own city. It has its own police force. And has its own school districts. And at the time, my stepson was, how old was he? He was like 13, something like that. And we didn't know if he was going to come stay with us. And so we wanted the options to have a smaller city. So we started looking into Burbank, and we found this lovely house, and they accepted dogs. And so that was kind of the impetus. We couldn't find anything in South Pasadena. So we were like, okay, well, let's go look into Burbank.
Oh,
And
interesting.
so that was how we ended up here. Yeah.
So when you first moved to Burbank, in what way did you think it was different from South Pasadena?
It's much more suburban, which, at first I'll admit I thought wasn't necessarily a good thing. Because which sounds really terrible, but I've definitely kind of settled into it, and I enjoy that part of it now. But South Pasadena it reminded me a lot of Northern California in the sense of like, have you ever been to Berkeley?
Yes.
It reminded me a lot of Berkeley in that sense. So it's a real small city. It's very eclectic. It's got it just had a different vibe in that sense, more towards Northern California. And so when we came to Burbank, it literally was just a suburban city in Southern California. And so it was more sprawling, and it was just different. It took me a while to get used to it, but I really love it now, which it was kind of funny. When we first got here, I was like, man, I was kind of bummed. But the house itself was huge and lovely, and the guy was very welcoming about having a dog, and we had a big backyard. And so the trade-off was one of those things where we're like, okay, we can get used to this. I can get used to this. This is okay.
Oh, that's nice. So how would you describe what it feels like for you to live in Burbank right now?
Oddly enough, it feels safe, which sounds strange because that's not different from South Pass. South Pass is actually fairly safe as well, but it just feels really safe. I mean, I have no issues going for a nice long walk after 10 p.m. And it's very our neighborhood in particular where we live. We're right under the airport, just so you know. You'll hear airplanes flying at some point. But the area that we live in is so just neighborly. Like literally, you walk out and it's just all owned homes. We rent, but everybody else around us owns their homes, and they take good care of it. And so it's just your neighbors. Sadly, being a dog owner, I know their dogs more than I know the people's names, but that's okay. I'll be like, that's Joe, and yeah. But it just feels actually really fairly safe, which is an interesting feeling.
It is important, especially if you're in a large city like Los Angeles.
Well, yeah, because we're right on the border of North Hollywood, and North Hollywood, the part of North Hollywood that we're on the border on isn't all that great. And so it's really funny because you can really feel the difference when you cross Cahuenga. It was like, oh, okay. You definitely feel the Burbank border.
So it's like, okay, do not cross this border.
Yeah, the force field has been risen. So it feels very homey, very old school homey, very safe,
Okay.
very, very family oriented. Yeah.
That's very good. That's all the good points right there.
Yeah.
So how would you say the quality of your life was affected when you moved to Burbank, if there was any difference at all?
Well, the biggest one is feeling safe enough to walk around, because South Pass is incredibly safe as well, but that was probably the biggest one. And I'm much closer to Hollywood, where I work at that college, so So that part, the quality of life is lovely because I'm considerably closer to work. I could kind of just wander about my neighborhood, say hi to my neighbors, and that part is really lovely.
That is important for sure. Like if you were able to shorten your commute to work,
Oh,
that's
yes,
huge.
huge, huge. And I sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But the irony is the airport. We were so excited to move close to the airport and then realize how much more expensive it is to LAX.
Yes.
So I'm always kind of like, man, oh well.
I know. Yes, flights from Burbank are really, really easy, but yes, they can be more expensive for sure.
Yeah. So it's always a score when I can get a flight out of Burbank and not hurt too bad. It's always hilarious. Yeah. Going out on the road, whenever I get like a flight, they get my flight information. I'll look and be like, oh my God, it's Burbank. Sweet. I'm 5 minutes away. I can
That's
Uber.
Perfect. So let's say somebody asked you to describe Burbank and like they've never heard of the city, they've never been here. So how would you describe it to them?
Oh man. Well, that's a good question. Well, as I said, it's very suburban, but it also depends on the area that you're in. So when you get up into the hills above the 5, it's really, really like these cul-de-sacs and things like that of these homes. And it's very like the homes are kind of more from the 50s and 60s. And then these massive McMansions are up there too. Mm-hmm. But again, very sprawling. And then it goes up into the golf course and things like that. And Castaways, I think, is up there.
Yes, with the best city views.
And, one of your questions is where you can see a good sunset, Castaways. And all of that is very, again, very suburban. But then you get below the 5 and then you're into more industrial but it's still, lots of homes, lots of families, very busy. And then there's, Magnolia Boulevard, and all of that is with all the used clothing shops and the coffee houses and Porto's, which is a huge, if you haven't been to Porto's, you must go to Porto's. It's worth waiting in line for. And then you get over towards where like Universal and Warner Brothers and stuff like that. And that's more apartment buildings, but it's just a very surprisingly sprawling suburban place. Mm-hmm. So lots of mixed demographics of people, renters versus homeowners, although where we are right now has become more home ownership. And so the people that are here are definitely here to stay, which is really cool. Unlike Hollywood, where, it's people just transitioning, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody is planning on living in Hollywood forever unless you're going to go off towards, down towards Wilshire in that area. And it's just it's just calm. It's a really calm place.
Beautiful description, Tita. Thank you. So, what are your favorite activities? And maybe you were able to add something to your activities since you moved to Burbank. And is it conducive to your lifestyle?
Yeah, actually it is. One of my favorite things to do is when I have time off is I'll actually go up to Magnolia Boulevard, and there's a lovely bunch of antique stores up there and used clothing stores, and you can go just up and down and go through the shops. And that's one of the things I really love to do is I go up there and I just wander, and sometimes I buy. Most of the time I'm just walking and looking in the windows and experiencing things. And that's one of my favorite things to do, oddly enough.
Oh, so do you walk to Magnolia?
No, I'm not that close. Mm-hmm. I guess if I wanted to be active, I would, but but I'm not. So yeah, I'll usually drive up there and then walk around and walk up and down.
Okay, that's your favorite activity.
Yeah, believe it or not, yeah, because they've got these great little shops that if you actually pull over and walk, you can wander in and discover all these little cool things. There's crystal shops. There's these great little. I can't think of the name of the store, but there's this one store that only sells like local artists clothing, artwork, just anything, books and stuff, and it's all by the local artists, and it's just a brilliant little shop. And so I go in there and I just see what new stuff they got.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah, I'm kind of a nester, weird homebody because I'm not home very often, and so when I am, I'm like, what total normal things can I go do? And so I go do those.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So now that you mentioned that you're a homebody, my next question to you is, what does your home mean to you?
My home means to me, I've been pondering that question because I am definitely a homebody and I enjoy nesting. And so I like my home to be comfortable. And so it means warmth, comfort, safety, happy. It just, yeah, it's where I come to just kind of shake off the day, close the doors, and just be cool and just really enjoy myself at home.
And feel relaxed and unwind from the day. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's, I've tried and I still do. I have an office where, I have all my music gear set up where I do writing and things like that. But for the most part, I like when I'm home, unless I have a project I'm really working on, I like to just literally just be home and enjoy my dog, and my company, have friends over. So to me, home is like your heart.
Right. That is true. So you're saying home is your heart, but what is the heart of your home?
For me personally, it's my kitchen. I love to cook. So yeah. So for me, the heart of the house is the kitchen. I would imagine Tim has different ideas, but
that's true. But I'm sure he enjoys that the kitchen is the heart of your home because he gets to benefit from it.
So for me, it's the kitchen. I absolutely adore cooking, and any opportunity to do it, I'm in there and I'm cooking.
That's wonderful. Very good. Okay, Tita, I have a few blitz questions to you about Burbank.
Bring it on.
Yeah. What is your favorite store? Well, probably you mentioned it. You just didn't remember the name, right?
Well, there's that one. But to be honest with you, my favorite store is called It's a Wrap, and it's on Magnolia, and it's right next to the one that I can't remember the name. It's a Wrap it's like a consignment. I say used clothing, but that gives it kind of a lesser sound. They'd get clothes on consignment from television shows, movies, commercials, and you can go in and buy an outfit that you saw in a movie. And they have anything from almost any era you can possibly think of because of where they get all their clothing from. And that's when I'm not in the little shop that buys local, I'm in that shop because I've found so many great outfits there, and their prices are okay, but because you're also getting something that was worn in a film or worn on a show. But they have these just amazing deals and just these great little things you can find. I was working in a show in Las Vegas where I played Janis Joplin, and I literally found all my costumes there. It was brilliant.
Wow, that is so cool.
Yeah, I love that shop. I mean, also my daily, I dress similarly that way anyway. But I was able to find all kinds of just wonderful little tidbits. I just recently went in. I was performing in a show that was a 1920s theme, and I found flapper shoes for $15. It was brilliant. I was like, oh my gosh, this is great.
That is perfect. Well, do you ever recognize the costumes, like, from what shows they are, or it's like too far-fetched?
Yeah, well, no. I mean, I wish I could say I watch a lot of television because that's where they get the majority of their stuff. So probably no, but every once in a while I'll recognize just a title, a show name or a film name, and I'll be like, really? That's kind of cool, and kind of just I'll be excited about that stuff. But
they actually put it on tags?
Yeah. They do, so you can see what you're buying from. It's great.
That is great. Like you can wear something from the show and feel like you are in the show.
I think I've seen things in there from the 70s show. I've seen things in there from Days of Our Lives. I mean, it's hilarious. You just kind of go, what? Okay, cool. And they have everything from hats to purses to jewelry. I mean, just all kinds of stuff. It's great. It's even fun just to go in and peruse what shows have recently unburdened themselves of their wardrobe.
Oh my God. That is a great find for someone who is into TV shows. So it's a wrap.
It's called It's a Wrap. And it's just, it's really cool. Just the eclecticness of the clothes that they have in there is just really fun. I love antiquing and going and looking in used clothing stores because some of the things that you find are just so unique.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Of course.
Okay. Do you like coffee?
I live for coffee.
Whoa. Okay. What's your favorite coffee place?
Well, it's funny. I was thinking about it because I mostly make my coffee at home. But when I thought about that, there was this little place around the corner on Cahuenga called Moby's, MOBY apostrophe S. And they were so fun, and their coffee is delicious. It's just this tiny little place, and you can go in and you can hang. The owners it's this lovely couple. And they have games, they have game nights, they have game days. You can sit and play dominoes, Monopoly, you can paint. It's just this really fun, artistic coffee hang. And they're just really lovely human beings. It's called Moby's, and it's over on Cahuenga.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. What is your favorite restaurant in Burbank?
Wow, there's a lot, actually. But it's mostly, actually, to be honest, because Burbank is so close to Toluca Lake, a lot of the places that I like are over more towards Toluca Lake. But in Burbank proper, which is up towards where IKEA used to be, like San Fernando in that area, there's a really good Indian restaurant up there called Flavor of India. Their veggie korma is awesome. It's really good. I try to branch out and have other things, but I'm always going back to the veggie korma. Yeah, so Flavor of India, I think it's on Orange up there, but it's right in the where the movie theaters are and the mall. It's right there. And then over towards where, more towards the Toluca Lake area, Cas de Soleil, Italian, brilliant, so good. And Foreman's, I don't know if you've been in there. They're known to be, it's funny because they're known as like a whiskey bar, but their food is really awesome. And if you like whiskey, delicious beverages. So that's Foreman's. And then there's this place called Sushi Yuzu on Riverside. Both Foreman's and Sushi Yuzu are on Riverside, and they're awesome. Sushi Yuzu is amazing. Be prepared to wait because it's small and it's always busy, but it's worth it.
Very cool. Wow.
Yeah.
What a selection.
I know, right? Hopefully everybody will try them because they're awesome.
Yes. Thank you. You mentioned that you like going for walks and that you always feel safe when you do. So are there any favorite streets of yours where you prefer to walk? For
sure, my neighborhood, which is over, what is it? We're on Pass Avenue, Edison, and that connects to Edison. And it's just a lovely little neighborhood walk. It's just really green and beautiful and lots of trees. But another place that's really nice to walk is when you head up towards the golf course. You can pull over on, I can't remember the name of the street, but as you're going up towards the golf course and heading, actually, is it the road up to Castaways? It might be the road up to Castaways. You can pull over and there's these beautiful hiking trails up there. I wish I could remember the name of it. It's just, I kind of just find my way.
Not Walnut?
It might be. It might be. If you're looking right at if you're heading up, say, any of the streets like Cypress, and you're heading up towards the golf course and you run up to the top of the street and you're facing the golf course, you would go right. And then whatever that next street is, that turns left to go up into the hills towards the Castaway. There's all these just beautiful trails up there and little parks. Like you pull up and then there's these just tiny little sections under trees where you can sit with a picnic, or that you can drive up a little further. And then there's another section. It's magical. And it doesn't feel like you're anywhere in Los Angeles. It's actually quite lovely.
Yes, beautiful. So my last question to you, where can you see the best sunset in Burbank? You already mentioned that. I did.
Well, because if you really want to see a lovely, Castaways, if you really want to sit and see just a lovely view of Burbank and Glendale and just the surrounding area, go sit at Castaways and go sit out on the patio. And you can see a lovely sunset and actually have pretty decent food. It's pretty rocking up there.
Yes, I agree. It's really hard to get in, especially during the weekend.
It is, especially since they renovated. Oh my gosh. When they did that whole renovation, it's beautiful, but wow, it's hard to get in there.
Yes, you have to plan ahead of time. But yeah, I've seen some of the best sunsets there myself, and such a beautiful view of the city.
It really is. And, just on the other side, as you're coming down, there's also some more hiking trails up there, which is beautiful too. So you'd have to bring a couple sets of clothes.
Hiking at night.
Yeah, right?
It's taking hiking to another level.
Oh my God. This is living here in Burbank right now. This is the second time I've lived in Burbank. When I first moved here in the 90s, I lived with a boyfriend up in the hills towards where Castaways is, where we're talking about in that area. And we used to sneak into the golf course at night and just kind of run around like a bunch of idiots, because that's what you do when you're in your early 20s. You do silly stuff like that. And we would see deer, which was crazy.
That's a nice story. It's something that stays with you now that you live in Burbank and gives you this feeling that it's very suburban and safe. And also probably somewhere in the back of your mind, when you were in your 20s running at night along the golf course, like you did feel safe there as well.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, we didn't even think about it. We were just like, okay, let's go. Climb the fence, jump around, and then stop still because there's a deer in front of you. And you're like, oh, this is weird. It's interesting to be back.
You never know. You never know.
Absolutely.
Well, Tita, thank you so much for such a lovely interview. And I got like a really warm feeling, from you while you were talking about Burbank and shared all these wonderful places. And I'm sure the listeners would want to visit some or all of them. And I really appreciate all of the advice that you gave as far as like the food, the coffee, clothing stores.
Well, thank you. I'm so happy you asked me to do this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tita. And I hope to see you soon. And thank you for agreeing for the interview.
Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed experiencing Burbank with my special guest, Tita Hutchison. Please press the like button, follow, and share your feedback for the podcast. Your time and support are greatly appreciated. Next time, we're going on a journey to Riverside. See you there.
In the mood for California, feel the soul of old Hollywood